wondering, for those who are on the board, whether you know if the tenders actually include maintaining the lagoons so that we have that as a holding area in the future, so that it will prevent or hold off having to do an expanded plans if in fact we choose a single train. So do the tender documents intend to maintain and connect to the existing lagoons? Do you know?
I was under the impression that we use the existing lagoon.
We use one cell of the existing lagoon is where the plant will be located.
Okay, so what would you
The other 3 cells are still there. Some of them are finishing, some of them are wetlands.
Okay, so they will be available. Very good. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions on the minutes? July 15th? All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Fire board meeting August the 18th. Moved by Councillor Cook. Second by Councillor Scott. Questions on the minutes? Councillor Daddy.
It's just a question for someone on the board, or maybe one of the staff. It includes a motion in this that was passed that said that we purchase high-pressure air breathing systems, and first of all, can I assume it's for the 2012 budget, obviously? You want to do it? Okay.
Councillor Scott.
They already have a budget. They have a $40,000 maintenance budget.
Okay.
As well as they have a $10,000 budget for this year.
Yeah.
And that particular instance, that gentleman has 6 units, like clothing units and packs that are not in good order.
Yes.
So he needs to order, so it's all within the
It's
mandate.
within the budget.
In the budget, it's part of bringing up to a standard level, and it's to putting the same type of breathing apparatus across the board for all our
Okay.
departments.
As long as somebody's knowing.
Bringing
That's
us
right.
there. Councillor Underwood?
Yeah, I just want to put it when I was actually talking to the chief there, and they may have to go to just because of the logistics and everything, so, but we need new ones, but we might have to keep them. That way, to keep everybody the same over the long term.
He's going to consult with the rest of the chiefs, and at the meeting that night, we did talk about high pressure, and they thought that the low pressure would work with the high pressure, but the high pressure would go with the low pressure, so anyway, they don't mix. So they're working on that. The board's direction is to get everything up to standard and everything with the consistent equipment. Councillor Scott?
Did we get a copy of Aaron's report? And we still do remember the fireman at the North Pole. Did he hand in a report?
Yes,
Did we get a copy of that?
I can make a copy of it.
Okay. Any other questions, minutes? All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Item 6.4. At this time, I will declare a conflict as the, what do I do, the PowerPoint?
Yeah.
You turn it.
I'm trying to get up, sorry about that. Lights.
Just to give council and the public that are here a bit of background on this report. The PowerPoint originally began about a year ago, at a time when the previous council was addressing the issues that we entered into the election season, and it was not deemed as appropriate to present it during that period of time until things settled down. And then with the new council getting its feet under it and getting oriented, I had given council a kind of a written report, an overview of the status of the sewage system, plant, and collection systems. But I continued to try and refine and update this PowerPoint as time went by. The reason I'm presenting it tonight is twofold. One is to brief council, share this wonderful insights with council, but more importantly, you've asked a certain review of this system onto the ad hoc committee And before I can pass some of the information that's in here, which I think would be relevant to their discussions, I thought it was important that I present it to council first, and then council can subsequently refer it, if it so wishes, to the ad hoc committee for their consideration to do with as they wish. My overall intent is to get it off my book so I can move forward. So this is a bit of an overview. As stated, it's been a year in the making. The existing facility was built in 78, 79, it's in its 30th year. And it's now reached design capacity. This is a reference to the committed allocation issue. Committed allocation is a complex issue, and it's one that we're continuing to, as early as today, continue to exchange communication with the municipality of South Huron, that is the co-owner of the existing system, about capacity and what's in, what's out, and so on and so forth. The key thing that we both agree on is that technically the existing lagoons are at capacity. Throughout the process, we began to try and identify what future demands would be on the existing system and identify whether we're capable of meeting those demands, as well as trying to keep our eye on the radar, as it were, in terms of MOE and Government of Canada legislation that's in development about new effluent standards for sewage treatment facilities across Canada. There was consideration during part of this discussion about removing the sludge from the existing lagoons and whether that would give us additional capacity in the system, but the cost outweighed the return on that investment. The capacity issue, and this, I had Nick Verhoeven, our manager of infrastructure, put together a kind of what I refer to as a snapshot of where the existing capacity situation is, the status report. Try to do it, put it in a pie chart form, because you've seen all sorts of graphs and so on and so forth prior to this. And this is a snapshot at the end, which represents the 2009 year-end flow data that we had. So it doesn't reflect what's the implementation of the Pineries conversion to a collection system. But it gives you some sense of, and the two, a little bit hard to pick up with the on the wall there, but I think council have seen this in a different format before to show that the large pie is kind of the overview, and then the sub pies are really what relates to that committed capacity, what's in there, and the blue pie illustration is what's currently calculated within the existing flows. The illustration at the top, the little bar chart, is really an illustration of what we've identified as new capacity, or future development capacity that we need to address and deal with. Part and parcel with the development of an approach to the sewage treatment facility was to try and do some population growth projections over the next 10 to 20 years. And you've seen this in various formats as well. It's something that I think, generally speaking, the consultants have tried to err on the side of small c conservatism in terms of projecting future growth. This data was gathered from the County Lent and their overall population study that was done. We also tried to vet it with C.N. Watson and their demographer to talk about whether our projections were within the range of reason and so on and so forth. But it does project that the area is slated for continued growth. It's gradual, but it is projected to grow over the next 10 to 20 years, and we want to make sure that the facility is capable of meeting those demands. As the project was being developed, we entered into partnerships with the municipalities of South Huron and Blue Water on our borders. And we asked the consultant who was working on behalf of all three parties to design a facility that would meet all these projected future needs and meet future effluent quality requirements. So it's sort of the overall criteria that they had. In the process, we also applied for federal provincial funding that was in the hopper at that point in time. I think it was the Build Canada Fund that was identified as a possible source for funding, and we subsequently did receive over